Well, guys, Nancy Pelosi should be expelled from Congress. If I'm Mike Johnson right now, I am calling to have Nancy Pelosi expelled from Congress. Nancy Pelosi is a liar. A liar. Now, we all know that Donald Trump actually wanted the National Guard there on January 6th. Nancy Pelosi shut it down. But for the past 3 years, guys, Nancy Pelosi and the left have been trying to paint Donald Trump as the architect of January 6th. Trump wanted the National Guard there. That was something like, 100,000 people there? Nancy Pelosi let January 6th happen. Now we got some a bombshell video we need to go over where Nancy Pelosi is admitting that it was her fault. Democrats, man, they're sneaky, man. And shame on Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger for being on that sham January 6th committee. It's no mistake, guys, that both of those so-called Republicans are no longer in office. That January 6th committee needs to be investigated big time. Mike Johnson called for a motion to expel Nancy Pelosi. That's what I would do. But I'm pretty sure, that you're actually going to have Republicans not be on board with this. I'm pretty sure every single Democrat is not going to vote to expel Nancy Pelosi. But the sad part is, man, you're actually going to have Republicans that are actually going to side with Democrats on this. This is why the Republican Party is weak. Weak. They had no problem ousting one of their own. But Jamal Bowman, oh no, we got to let the socialists stay. We need the socialists to stay in. Folks, let's get into this. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member. Member live stream every single Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're watching on Rumble, click the join button to get access to the same thing. Here we go, guys. Unaired video shows Nancy Pelosi admitting responsibility for not having National Guard at Capitol. Now, I believe this only got released. I believe it was an HBO special or something like that, where they were actually documenting January 6th. And this video now has come out. And Nancy Pelosi was a complete failure on January 6th. But for the past 3 years, man, we keep hearing about this so-called insurrection. But Nancy Pelosi let everything happen. She made sure that the Capitol was not protected. Wow. Says here, new video footage provided to House Republicans reveals then Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi admitting responsibility for not having the National Guard protect the Capitol ahead of protests on January 6, 2021. The footage, Political Notes, was, quote, was shown in a video shot by the former Speaker's daughter, documentarian Alexandra Pelosi, and recently provided to congressional investigators by HBO. It was never aired, nor did Alexandra Pelosi provide it to the January 6th committee when it was supposedly investigating the Capitol riot. Of course, even if they actually knew about this, and I'm pretty sure they knew about this, Nancy Pelosi knew this existed because she said it on the video. Wow. I want you guys to go ahead and listen in to Nancy Pelosi right here.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they had been. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Right there. That is Nancy Pelosi right there. Wow. Look here, Rep. Barry Loudermilk says Pelosi's J6 Select Committee spent taxpayer money chasing false political narratives and using Hollywood producers for their quote-unquote investigation. Her admission of responsibility directly contradicts their own narrative. I agree with that. Look here. The January 6th committee also never subpoenaed Speaker Pelosi or her daughter for documents about the riot. Of course not. The video substantiates claims by former President Donald Trump that Pelosi was responsible for failing to prepare sufficient security ahead of the protests. Trump offered the National Guard in days before the Stop the Steal rally, but was refused. Trump was later faulted by critics for not intervening quickly to send the Guard during the riot. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe National Guard was actually requested 4 days before January 6th, something like that. Yeah. This is crazy, but Nancy Pelosi is in full panic here. So she ran over to MSNBS here. And MSNBS doesn't ask her the question, why are you actually admitting that you were responsible for the National Guard on January 6th? Why didn't you actually send in the Guard? Oh, no, can't ask that. Can't ask that. Let's go and watch this, guys.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you, Nicole.
Why do you think this is stirred up and a brouhaha on the right and in some corners of the media today?
A brouhaha? I mean, you should be right up front asking the question. Nancy Pelosi, on that tape, you admitted that it was your fault for not bringing in the National Guard. What do you have to say about that? Oh, no. Just to bring up a brouhaha on the right? Really?
Well, because of the fact is that the President of the United States, the former president, and his toadies do not want to face the facts. They're trying to do revisionist history on January 6th. But we cannot let us be dragged into their, again, false impression of what happened that day. They know what happened that day. They know how serious it is and was and continues to have an impact on our country. And yet they want to call the people who were in there hostages. Last night I received the Lincoln Award. I was so proud of receiving that. And I said in my remarks, Lincoln built the dome on the Capitol. He insisted that it be built during the Civil War so that it could show the resilience of America. And to see these people coming through the Capitol with their foul deeds and foul actions, waving Confederate flags and Nazi flags.
BS. There was no Nazi flags at all. None. She's lying.
Under Lincoln's dome was so shameful. And yet this president who incited, this former president who incited this insurrection would not send the National Guard for hours. People were harmed. People were killed, died one way or another. And what did he do?
Yeah, Capitol Police officer shot and killed Ashley Babbitt. That's the only person that died on January 6th.
But try to deny that any of it happened. This is a terrible thing. But let us not take away the attention of what we need to do to go forward. We have to unify our country. We have to bring people together in a way that honors the vision of our founders, the sacrifice of our men and women in uniform.
I'm sorry, Nancy Pelosi, but I do not want to unify with Marxists. I do not want to unify with anti-Americans. I refuse to do that. You should too. I'm not going to unify behind Marxists. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Well as the aspirations of our children. I just came back from D-Day in Normandy to see our veterans there who
was the 80th anniversary of it. Some of the youngest of them were 97, some over 100. They fought for our freedom, and yet you see how it is being denigrated by the former president and his Republican toadies.
Madam Speaker, you've always been sort of a tip of the spear figure in our politics, and you've always, and I don't know that people know this, I don't know how much you like this said on TV, Republicans, my old boss included, have not even grudging respect, have immense respect for your love of country and your patriotism. Stuart Stevens made the point in the last hour that if this campaign is waged around big things like the flag, which Trump supports.
She never asked her about that video. Didn't even ask her, man. I'm going to stop right there, man. This is ridiculous right here. But I'm not surprised, man, because the mainstream media is propagandists for the Democrat Party, man. Nancy Pelosi should be arrested, thrown in jail. Nancy Pelosi should be expelled from Congress. She did not do her job. She failed and lied about it. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you next time.